Merry Christmas, guys. Brennan here, bringing you another video. It is December 20th, I believe. Yeah. Show off the Christmas tree real quick because my sister did an awesome job decorating it. I got my dog Bailey over here, but we all know what we're here for. You guys want to see this tank. I know you guys want to see this tank because you've been bugging me about it, so here it is, guys. This is the 135 as it sits currently. I kind of want to explain first before I go into any details. I did have kind of a major tank issue. It all started with some electrical problems that I was having. If you guys remember, underneath my system I had those electrical panels on this side with the plugs. They're all labeled, you know, you could plug everything in. It was great until something happened with that circuit, something happened with the electrical, and it basically shorted out a couple of my pumps. If you remember my last video, I had a Jabo WP45 and that side over there. I had two of them, and that's what I was running on my tank, and for some reason one of them quit on me. I tried to mess with the other one to see if it would work off the other controller, and in doing that I managed to kill the other pump. So yeah, both of my WP45s are gone and done. However, I did replace them with a WP25 in this corner and an identical WP25 over in this corner. Ooh, this looks really blue. It's not that blue. There it is. So yeah, I got new pumps, and instead of running them on the sides, I'm running them on the back now. I like the way it looks with them on the back. You can, you know, not see them as much, and they still move a decent amount of water. So, whoa, something just got stirred up right there. So yeah, I'm rocking these new pumps. They're doing a really great job. But while my old pumps were out, while I was, you know, kind of waiting until I can buy new pumps, I did have several pieces of coral die on me, unfortunately. Some of them, you know, just kind of shrunk up and just weren't doing good, and then other corals died completely. So I'll just quickly run you over the corals that I have, but before I do that, I kind of want to show off one thing. I've got this fish right here. If you guys can see that, that is a very little small Sohal tang. I took a trip to Los Angeles. Shout out to a store there called Reef Lounge USA, if you guys have ever heard of it. It's an awesome store. If you haven't heard of it, I highly recommend you check it out. If you live in California or in the LA area, you know, just look them up on their website. I'll leave a link down below. But yeah, he's a really awesome fish. I wanted a Sohal tang for forever. He's always been one of those fish that I thought was just super cool, and I got one now. He's a little tiny guy. He's, you know, maybe about half the size of my blonde naso, but he fits in well with my other two tangs, and they get along really well, and I'm happy. And he eats really good. When I first bought him, they were feeding him pellets, and they would just drop pellets on the surface of the water, and he was almost jumping out of the water, guys, to get those pellets. So I had to have them. Moving on though to the corals, you know, still got these green star polyps. Of course, those aren't going to die in a pump failure because they're bulletproof. Mushrooms still looking fantastic. I've moved the Zoroark around. I lost a lot of these, but they're actually starting to come back. So high hopes for those. Torch actually did fine. Torch wasn't affected really at all. My hammer usually looks a lot more open than that, but my lights have been off for about an hour now. So, well, on the timer, you know, the corals know when it's time to go to bed, but I just wanted to make this video, so I figured I'd get them back on. Still got the Akins. I moved them. They were growing pretty good. You can see there's some new growth on the side there, but a little bit of that died off when the pump failed. This one I almost lost completely whenever the pump failed. I don't know why, but this one, you can still kind of see in the back some of the skeleton is exposed. It just, I don't know why this one took such a hard hit, but it was looking really bad. But today it's actually looking a little bit puffier, so I like that. I like to see that. Down here we still got my Duncans. Usually this thing is like almost twice that size. This thing opens up huge. This is one of my favorite pieces of coral. It just looks so cool. Still got the frog spawn doing good. This coral took a major hit. If you guys remember, it was up here before. I had to move it down here because whenever I added the new pump, I don't know, I guess it must have just been getting too much flow or something, but it shrunk down all the way into the skeleton, lost all of its tissue almost, and there was nothing left of it. But it's starting to come back. It certainly doesn't have the color on it that it had before, but we're working on that. I think I might be able to get that color back in time. I can see a little bit of red coming through. I just really want that red back. But that piece did make it, and I'm happy about that because I really love that logo. My anemone here, not as big as it was before. I think it might be because it's getting a little too much flow, but it's kind of stuck in that same spot. So I don't know, maybe I'll mess with the flow a little bit more, see if I can give him a little less flow, see he'll open up more. Those zoas that you see back there, I lost almost all of those. There's a couple left on that frag plug. I'm hoping that they make a comeback. Those two red Monty Cap frags are new. I got those from a friend of mine. This piece is one that I'm really happy about. This is my green Montipora on the left. On the right, I'm not sure what that green piece is, but that one seems to be doing good. But the one on the left is just doing awesome. I've only had it there for maybe a month and a half, and it's like super encrusted into the rock, and it just looks super cool. I can't wait to frag that off and give some pieces of it to some of my buddies. This right here, another little red Monty Cap. You know, I'm just kind of experimenting with the Monties. I've never tried them before or anything like that, so figured I'd give them a try. They were free, so those are doing good. I got my flower pot still looking good. Again, lights have been off for an hour, guys, so most of the stuff is closed down. This piece, my Wells Affiliate coral, it took a pretty hard hit whenever the pumps failed, but it's actually recovered very nicely. It's opened up real nice and big again, and it looks really pretty. Just trying to get it to color back up. This piece right here, my boss actually gave to me. It was a piece of one of his frag racks. The coral actually grew so much, it was on there for so long that it just grew all over. Some type of purple acro. So I give it a dip and stuck it in here. Hopefully I'll be able to move it up top. I just kind of want to acclimate it to the light first. Get a nice little look at this pump here. If it'll focus. There we go. I don't know if this was in my last video. Let me zoom out. These are little filter pads. I have them right here to cover my fans, kind of keep dust from going in there. They actually do a really good job at keeping the top of my tank from being so dusty, because when the top of my tank gets dusty, it blocks light, and I don't like blocking light. So I just keep those set in there. Nice little side tank shot. Alright, the main reason I wanted to make this video, though, isn't so much to talk about my corals, because obviously they're not doing fantastic right now. You know, give me a couple months and I'll probably have these corals looking a lot better than they are today. Yeah, the main reason I wanted to make this video is because of what I did down here. Now, before, my filtration was okay. You know, it worked, but it didn't, I don't know, it just really didn't do it for me. I wanted something cleaner, more efficient, something that looked nicer, and something that just worked better for my tank. So I did a little redesigning, and I'll just go ahead and show you guys that. Alright, here we go. Dun 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 dun. Starting over here on the right, as you can tell, my filtration, let me get down here, my plumbing is all redone. I took out all that flex hose because it was not good, and I replaced it with just straight PVC pipes that go into each other. These are inch and a half PVC. I had to actually custom cut this elbow to make it fit together because they were so close together it wouldn't fit. So I chopped that, I got these up here together, and then they're kind of glued up into the bulkheads. From there it goes to a ball valve, which right now is all the way open because I don't really have a problem with noise. And then we have a union valve, an elbow, and then that goes down into my sock, which is dirty, needs to be changed, but I was just going to use it until it got a little bit dirtier because I just put that on there earlier this week. Up here, I don't know if this is in my last video or not, but I'll mention it again. It's just a little fan. I cut a hole in the styrofoam and kind of just stuck it in there. And it's actually plugged into the timer that my lights are on. So when my lights are on, the fan's on, lights turn off, fan turns off. It's basically just to circulate air down here because I have a closed back, so I need to be able to get some air in here to keep it from getting too humid because I do have electrical down here. Still rocking that Bubble Magus skimmer. Cleaned that out yesterday. These skimmers are great. I love Bubble Magus. Back here, I think that's a 300 watt Jaeger Eheim glass heater. I plan on upgrading to these cool titanium ones that my boss gets. I'll probably get one of those soon since it's winter time. Running carbon, Fosgard, and just a sponge right there. I took all the live rock out of the sump. There was live rock in here, a lot of live rock. I sold all of that. And I have a couple pieces of Robo Rock left back there. But the main thing that I was, kind of proud of is this new pump. This right here is a Jabo DC pump. It's the DC 9000. I bought this off a friend. He gave me this pump and one of those wave makers up top for 60 bucks. He hooked it up fat. I was really happy about that. And this pump is super silent, super efficient. There's a lot of cool things that I really do like a lot about this pump that's a lot better than the old Rio pump that I was using. The main one obviously is that it's controllable, but I'll show you how it goes. It basically has a hose barb. That's the only connector that it really has. From there it goes to another hose barb that goes into 3/4 inch PVC. From there we have this feed line, which I'll get into in a second. But going up we have my check valve. Goes up into a T that splits off into 2 directions, and each one of these is my returns for up top. I got a little bit of salt creep here, but yeah, so the tubes, the flex tubes go up into that, and which in return goes to my returns actually, and brings the water back out to the tank. So this is a really cool design. In my opinion, I thought this was good. If you guys remember before, I had the 2 outlets kind of coming together in a T, and then it went down here into the pump, and it was just, I don't know, I didn't like that. I felt like it made the pump work too hard, and I wasn't getting enough flow. One of the biggest upgrades, though, that I've done to the tank since the last video is going to be this. This right here, this feed line, is actually going all the way around to my calcium reactor. This was a pretty big investment for me. This is, I don't know, this is pretty intense, I guess, for keeping saltwater corals. I've never really had anything like this. I've never had a doser or any type of reactor or anything like this. I bought this used off of one of my customers. Shout out to Jeff for selling this to me. I got the whole setup for about 300 bucks. That's actually including the reactor, brand new thing of reactor media. The pump on here is an Eheim pump. It works really good. I replaced all of the tubing on here with new tubing. That's included in that $300 price point. I got one of these Red Sea needle valves, which this thing is like to the point exact on my bubble count. Let's see my bubble count. 2, 3. So about every 3 seconds a bubble comes in. I got this tank here. I believe it's a 5-gallon tank. Yeah, I think so. And then I replaced the regulator valve with this really nice Milwaukee one. It also has a shut-off solenoid, so whenever the power goes off, the tank goes off with it. And it has its own little bubble counter, but I don't really trust that thing. I had to use a thicker hose right here because I was using this regular hose and it's a lot squishier, and this was just expanding really big. I was scared it was gonna pop. So yeah, that's my calcium reactor. The feeds come right over here. I kind of switch my ATO to the back, and I have one line dripping. The other line's a little bit more constant, but yeah, it's done an awesome job at keeping my calcium, my alk, and my magnesium up. If you look inside this chamber, you can actually see the layers of different media. This layer is going to be magnesium. This is going to be that ARM media. So, calcium mag, calcium mag, calcium mag. a little more calcium on top, and it just kind of circulates in there, and it's really cool. I like this. This is one of my favorite additions that I've added to my system. So moving on over here, you see this is my left controller. The right one is behind the tank. I don't really have these mounted yet. I kind of want to mount them like up behind the canopy, like so I can use the light sensors. And then this right here, just kind of sitting down right here, this is the Jabo controller. It's really nice because you can control the flow, and then you can even push the, let me see if I can get this all in the same shot. Let me see, feed. Yeah, there you go. That was sweet. And then turn it back on, and you'll see it slowly ramp up. Check this out. Wait for it. Any second now. Oh, yeah, there we go. So cool. Loving this pump. Pump works great. Can't complain. Highly recommend. Okay, see, before you guys, in this video, I mentioned that my electrical, I had a huge problem. I had some power surge in my house, and it jacked up my pumps. Stuff was just messing up with me. I was tripping breakers. I was so tired of it. So I actually went in and ripped out all of that old electrical that was in there and installed this new, I'm going to call it my new control panel. Basically, it was really difficult, but I had to unscrew all of those little outlets and rip all that stuff out. I cut this board here. This is just plywood, and it's screwed into the frame of the stand. From there, I have this nice 10 outlet Belkin heavy duty surge protector, and literally everything runs off this surge protector, which is really nice. I kept the lamp because, I mean, obviously I'm going to need light in here. But I have my main pump, my 2 wave controllers, heater, calcium reactor pump, calcium reactor solenoid, and skimmer. Yes, I got that right. Awesome. And then right here, I got this cool new timer. I bought this off Amazon. It was like 16 bucks. But it has, come on, focus in there. Oh, this cord's messing me up. Okay, we're not going to be able to do that. So, there we go. Yeah, you can kind of see. Yeah, there we go. Focus. There. So it has a lot of different not wave modes, a lot of different like time modes, a lot of different stuff you could do with it. Right now it's plugged into a surge protector, and in that surge protector I have 1, 2, 3 Kessels. I have